Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
Sunday afternoon, the Twins close out their series in Detroit, and they're hoping to leave here with a series win, taking 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. We are down to 8 games remaining in the regular season. The Twins are a game and a half out in the wild card standing, still trailing the Astros and the Angels, and they are all big games from here on out. Good afternoon. One final time from Comerica Park. I'm Marnie Gellner. Last night, the Twins beat the Tigers 6-2, in part because of the significant contributions from the bottom of the lineup. Aaron Hicks was batting 7th. He went 1 for 4 and drove in a run. But the 8 and 9 hitters are the ones that really came up big in the game. Kurt Suzuki had a heck of a night, 3 for 4 from the plate. He drove in the go-ahead run in the 7th inning. Also had a run scored. And Eduardo Escobar went 2 for 4. He drove in 3 runs, hit a big 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning to give the Twins a little bit of padding there. Paul Molitor said he really liked the production he got last night from the bottom part of the lineup. So Molly is thrilled with what the 7, 8, 9 hitters did last night. And Dick and Bert, the Twins scored in 4 different innings. They'd like to keep that offense rolling and pair it up with a pretty good pitching performance this afternoon.
Irvin Santana, Marnie, will make the start for the Twins, and it no longer matters that he was unable to help this team in the first half. All that matters is, as the Twins are driving for a hoped-for playoff spot, Irvin Santana is pitching well at crunch time.
Yeah, he can't be pitching any better, believe it. He's 5-0 over his last 5 starts, and Santana, 4-0, 1.50 earned run average. In 36 innings, he's allowed only 6 earned runs with 39 strikeouts. And this guy needs to be on. This is a big game for the Twins and Santana. What does he have to do? Well, remember Santana before that Tampa Bay series, or in that Tampa Bay series, he struggled a lot. Well, he was willing to listen to Neil Allen, the pitching coach. He changed some things in his delivery, especially using his upper torso and driving toward home plate to where he was falling off of first base, and he's done a very good job. When he is on, he utilizes all 3 pitches. He has to change speeds and hit his spot.
The Tigers opened up their home schedule this year against the Twins. Today they will close out their home schedule. And who would have thought on opening day that this game would mean so much more to the Twins than the Tigers? The series finale is coming up. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Detroit, and the Twins are hoping to win this series and move on to Cleveland, win that one, win the one at home next week against Kansas City. There's really very little choice for the Twins other than to do that because they have ground to make up and teams to pass. 8 games counting today left in the season, and today the Twins will go for win number 80. And Paul Molitor happy with the way his team has played in September. There have been some frustrating losses along the way, to be sure, but his team's still playing good baseball, and they will play this game with this Menards batting order. Brian Dozier leading off. Aaron Hicks, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Torrey Hunter, Eduardo Nunez in for Trevor Plouffe, who's struggling and dealing with a flu bug, Eduardo Escobar, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton.
And on the mound this afternoon, it'll be 39-year-old Randy Wolf. He has not faced the Twins since he was a member of the Milwaukee Brewers back in 2011. He hooked up against Scott Baker in that ball game, and he ended up beating Scott Baker 4-3. But this is a veteran right here, a guy that's spent 17 years now at the big league level. And on August 22nd, he was purchased by the Tigers from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Northland Ford defense for the Tigers. Tyler Collins is in left. Rajay Davis in center. J.D. Martinez in right. Castellanos, Josh Wilson, the shortstop today. Kinsler and Victor Martinez on the right side of the infield. Miguel Cabrera, their designated hitter. And Alex Avila catching in what might be his final home game at Comerica Park. Avila, free agent after the season. And he admitted before the game, yeah, it has occurred to him that he might be playing his final game here in Detroit as a member of the Tigers. Strike one to Brian Dozier.
Now, Wolf, not an overpowering left-hander. He has to hit his spots. Big, slow curveball, very good circle changeup.
And Dozier takes a ball, 1-1.
And for Randy Wolf, this is his 7th start for the Tigers in his career. 1 win, 1 loss. He first faced the Twins back in 2002 when he was a member of the Philadelphia Phillies in an interleague play. There's that big slow curveball.
Control's been an issue for Wolf in his last couple of starts. The Twins might take some pitches to see if they can exploit that here this afternoon. Wolf with 8 walks in his last 2 starts, totaling 10 innings, and he falls behind Dozier now 3-1. Foul back 3-2. All due credit to Wolf. He's been a good pitcher for a long time, but in a way that he's starting here today tells you, speaks volumes as to the situation the Tigers are in. It's been a lost season for them, and they decided months ago that this was going to be a rebuilding year, yet this start going to a man who doesn't figure to be in their future.
Yeah, there's his numbers right there, making his 379th major league start.
And an off-speed pitch, and Dozier wastes it, flipping it foul.
And we showed you 133 wins, 124 losses, 13 complete games, 9 shutouts in his career. He's pitched for 8 different major league teams, starting with the Phillies back in 1999. So yes, he's paid his dues too, up and down in the minor leagues.
Full count to Dozier. And a bullet to center. And Dozier starts the game with a sharp single. Started the game with a double yesterday. Seems to be embracing his return to the leadoff spot. And that'll bring up Aaron Hicks.
Well, as it was last night, so important for the Twins to score first. Put some runs on the board early.
Hicks, much better from the right side than the left, moving up to the 2nd spot in the batting order with the lefty Wolf going. And Hicks shows bunt and takes ball 1.
See, I like this lineup last night. You like Mauer hitting second, but I like this lineup because of that possibility of the first guy Dozier getting on. Now Hicks, maybe a chance to bunt him over, get him in a scoring position, and then set it up for Mauer and Sano.
Swing and a miss, and a funny looking swing by Hicks, 1-on-1. Well, I did like Mauer hitting second. I really like Sano hitting third, and today he'll hit fourth. First couple games, the wind's been blowing in from left field, and now today it is blowing out toward left field. And Dozier checked it first.
I said it's important for the Twins to score first because this season, when they have scored first, they are 56-25. You put the pressure on the opposing team. Dozier with 11 stolen bases.
And Hicks waits and takes something at 69 miles per hour for a strike.
That big slow curveball.
You know, you brought up a good point about scoring first, and that has really been a key to Tyler Duffy's success. In his last 8 starts, no team has scored on him in the first 3 innings. He's given the lineup a chance to do just that. Hicks grounds it foul, reaching across the plate, similar to what Dozier did with 2 strikes in his at bat.
Wolf has pitched just over 2,300 innings in his career. He's averaged about 3.2 walks per 9 and about 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. Over 1,800 major league strikeouts.
And another foul.
Randy Wolf originally signed by the Phillies back in 1977. It's got to be 97, out of Pepperdine University in Southern California.
And the pitch inside. Hicks swings and misses, 1 down.
You see the breaking ball right there, a little bit harder than that big slow curveball, speeding it up and throwing that breaking ball down and in.
Wolf really tough against left-handed hitters, and the Twins have just one in the lineup, and his name is Joe Mauer. He'll hit next with a man at first and 1 out.
Now, Joe faced Wolf when he was with the Brewers. Joe went 0 for 3 in that ball game. And Wolf, pretty good pickoff move, 17 career pickoffs.
Outside, ball 1. Mauer with a couple of singles in the game last night. And inside now, 2-0. This is a team, a Tiger team, that won 4 straight division championships with very good and very deep starting pitching. And it is neither is the case in 2015. 2-0. 3-0.
Well, now, of course, they've had some injuries to their starting rotation, and that's why they went out and got Randy Wolf from Toronto. You know, down in AAA Buffalo for the Toronto Blue Jays, he had made 23 starts. He was 9-2, 2.58 earned run average. Anibal Sanchez was hurt a little bit. Verlander was just coming back into the lineup, so Wolf was available, and the Tigers put him in the rotation.
Mauer takes a walk. 2 men aboard for Sano here in the first inning. Sano here in a big spot in the first inning. Looking for his 50th run batted in. And really less than half a year.
The last couple of ball games, they've been really pitching Sano inside.
Hard inside. I don't know that Wolf can do the hard part.
No.
There's a pitch inside off the plate.
And what the Twins will see here this afternoon, a guy that's not going to challenge you with a fastball. He's going to change speeds. He's going to throw the 3-1 breaking ball when he's behind the count. Both calling out Avila.
Be changing sides with a runner now at second base.
Yeah, long career. He made the All-Star team for the Phillies back in 2003. He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries, so that's the up and down, trying to continue his career, and he's still pitching at 39.
And another pitch in the inner half, a swing and a miss. Looked like the same pitch that struck out Hicks.
Two Tommy John surgeries, left shoulder surgery.
A breaking ball over the plate and a foul back, 1-2.
Sometimes you'll see pitchers out there pitch backwards, you know, and then they might try to sneak a fastball by him here. 3 straight breaking balls.
One and 2 to Sano. Hunter on deck.
There's a fastball, and he got it inside. So there's pitching backwards right there. A lot of breaking ball, slow stuff, and then all of a sudden, you know, an 88, 89-mile-an-hour fastball inside. And he hit the catcher's glove, that being Avila. He picks up his second strikeout.
And an extended ovation for Torrey Hunter, who a year ago was playing for the Tigers. And we'll see if the veteran can deliver a big 2-out hit here for the Twins. Strike one. Couple of hits, 5 at bats, including a home run for Hunter against Wolf. The right field corner and foul. 0-2. After the game, the Twins go to Cleveland for 4 night games. Then they come home, 3 games against the Kansas City Royals. Counting today, 8 games left, and you know there's a number out there, number of games the Twins will have to win to get into postseason play, and I don't think it's going to be any less than 6.
I agree with you know, Houston winning yesterday. The Angels, great game in Anaheim last night, ended up winning.
2 strikes to Hunter. Driven to right, and an ankle high catch by J.D. Martinez. A hit and a walk, 2 men left. No score after a half. with a series win. Brad Ausmus, over the course of this weekend series, found out that he will be back next year to manage the Tigers for a third season. The Menards batting order for Detroit. A little bit of a different look for the Tigers with Rajai Davis leading off. Then Ian Kinsler had a good season series against the Twins. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Tyler Collins, Alex Avila, and Josh Wilson.
That'll be 32-year-old Irvin Santana on the mound, making his 16th start of the year, his third against the Tigers. He's had one good one, one bad one. The good one was 2 starts ago when he ended up getting a no decision.
In that game, he issued a leadoff walk, and then later in the first inning, Collins hit a 2-run double, and then he shut down the Tigers for the next 6. A strike taken, now a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, that was a ball game in Minnesota back on the 16th of the month. 4 walks in that ball game for Santana, 5 strikeouts, but he has really pitched well. Again, 4-0 over his last 5 starts. 1.5 earned run average, 6 earned runs in the 36 innings pitched.
And to left field, the Tigers get a leadoff single from their leadoff man in the first inning. Davis aboard, and Kinsler coming to the plate. Kinsler's had a very productive year at the plate, in the field. The Tigers have, I mean, their biggest issue isn't scoring runs. They've still got a very good lineup with veterans Kinsler and Cabrera having solid years. J.D. Martinez improving on last year's numbers. Down low, ball 1.
Yeah, Kinsler very steady at the plate. 60 multi-hit games, meaning 2 or more hits in a ball game, and a guy that will stand pretty close to home plate, about the middle of the box.
Popped up, and Mauer near his dugout with a play. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. A little bit of a different look in the outfield with Rosario out. And that means both Hicks and Buxton are out there along with Torrey Hunter. Nunez in at third. Escobar, Dozier up the middle. Mauer at first. And Suzuki back behind the plate. Trevor not feeling 100% physically. The Twins have been dealing with a bit of a virus through the clubhouse. And Trevor had a tough day at the plate last night. So Nunez gets the start.
Yeah, very bright here this afternoon. That pop-up, actually, Kurt Suzuki did not see it. It was Joe Mauer had to come and catch that ball in foul territory.
This time of the year, with Cabrera taking a strike, the players are in the home plate area, are almost looking into the sun, with the sun setting a little bit lower than it was obviously a couple months ago. So anybody looking out toward the field, picking up the baseball is kind of tough, including the fans.
Throw over to first base. Davis, good speed even at 34 years old. He has 18 stolen bases in 24 attempts.
1 strike and another throw to first.
Against Santana, there have been 6 stolen bases in 7 attempts. He's had 8 double plays turned behind him, making his 16th start.
And now 1-1.
Santana making his 16th career start against the Tigers. 8 wins, 3 losses in his career. Last time he faced the Tigers, he was with the Royals here at Comerica Park back in 2013.
Plenty of attention paid to Davis. If Santana can get a ground ball hit at somebody, should be able to get a double play and get the Twins off the field. Strike taken, and it's 1-2.
And Cabrera just 5 for 21 in his career against Santana with a home run.
a closer play at first.
Well, you respected the speed of Davis. Davis is getting a pretty good lead right there. Over 300 major league stolen bases, 18 this year.
Base hit to center. And Davis will hold at second. So a pair of singles for the Tigers. And Victor Martinez will come up with 2 men aboard.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball left up, and we saw Cabrera against Duffy get a couple breaking balls and hit him to right field, and then later in the ball game, Trevor May just blew that fastball right by him.
Victor Martinez hitting just .217 as a left-handed batter this year.
But very good numbers against Santana. 10 hits and 28 at bats with a couple home runs. You know, I asked a question before the ball game, and I know you did too. If you're hitting over 300, he's hitting 348 as a right-handed hitter. That left knee has been bothering him. He had surgery on it in spring training. He's had multiple surgeries on that left knee. Why you just don't hit right-handed?
It's tough to do that when you haven't seen the ball come out of as a right-handed batter, the ball coming out of a right arm.
Well, that was suggested by Brad Osmus that maybe he hits right-handed, but Victor Martinez said no.
We saw Pablo Sandoval do that with the Red Sox earlier this year. Of course, last year Aaron Hicks gave up switch hitting, but Hicks was an unproven player, and Sandoval and Victor Martinez, established veterans. 1-1. Shane Victorino stopped switch hitting a couple of years ago, and time called at the plate.
Yeah, Escobar had gone to second base and just trying to keep Davis close to the bag. And Santana holding the ball a little bit longer, and Victor Martinez asking for timeout and got it. So a little cat and mouse played between Davis and Escobar. Trying to keep Davis close to second.
Pulled foul. Tigers have a new general manager, Al Avila. They'll have Osmus coming back next year, and there's a significant challenge for the Tigers as they try to pick themselves up off the floor in the American League Central. Big long-term contracts. Cabrera signed through 2023. Victor Martinez still has 3 years left on his deal. So the Tigers are hoping that whatever has bothered Martinez from this side of the plate, he will be healthy. Blocked by Suzuki, keeping Davis at second base.
Yeah, nice play by Kurt Suzuki.
2-2 to Victor Martinez.
And we talked about Suzuki in the pregame, and this guy's a bulldog. He does not want to come out of the ball game. See the ball where it landed almost hit Martinez in the right foot.
Two and 2 to Victor Martinez. Fairly deep to left, and the catch made by Hicks. Haven't seen much of Hicks in left field, just a few games. That one hanging in the air for out number 2. Going to bring up J.D. Martinez. Twins had a leadoff single and had first and second with 1 out, didn't score, and now Santana trying to keep the Tigers off the board in the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, Santana, one of those veteran pitchers that if you're the opposing team, you want to get him early until he settles in to find out what's working and what's not working. Like you mentioned, it gave up a couple runs to the Tigers, then settled down nicely after that a couple starts ago.
Up and in, ball 1.
J.D. Martinez having a great season, 37 home runs. He's driven in 98 runs. 2 for 9 lifetime against Santana with a home run.
Fouled away, 1-1. Santana will make one more start Friday at home against Kansas City. And if the Twins get to postseason play, and the postseason would begin for them in a wild card game. Santana not eligible to pitch because of his PED suspension. If there are play-in games, if there are games 163, maybe even game 164, he would be eligible to pitch in those games because those are considered to be part of the regular season. Check swing, and another nice block by Suzuki, who was able to keep it around home plate, pick the ball up and tag Martinez, who's called out on strikes. In half Twins jersey, a family divided.
Yeah, very nice.
Beautiful day for a ball game, and as we said earlier, who would have thought on opening day that this game would mean so much more for the Twins than the Tigers? This is their last home game. They'll close out the regular season on the road. Eduardo Nunez will lead off the second for the Twins. And a first pitch strike. Nunez, Escobar, and Suzuki to face Randy Wolf.
You know, I look at Randy Wolf, what he has out there. I think of a former Tiger starter, Mike Maroth. Same type of pitcher, a left-hander.
I don't know how Nunez would manage to make contact with that and keep it fair. A base hit down the left field line. Victor Martinez gives him a bit of a bear hug as he rounds first base.
Yeah, ball down and in. Good hitting by Nunez.
And we'll bring up Escobar, who has been a big part of this resurgent Twins team that stayed in the race.
Well, he had a big home run in last night's ball game to give the Twins a 6-2 lead rather than going into the ninth with a 4-2 lead. He's shown power from both sides of the plate. 7 home runs as a right-handed hitter, 5 as a lefty.
And so Escobar moving up to the 7th spot on the batting order. Breaking ball. All of 68 miles per hour and a called strike. Mike Maroth was a minor league pitching coach for the Tigers, and he has left the organization as of this weekend, hooking up with another team.
Yeah, I read that, and I'm trying to remember who the team was that.
If this had been a night game, yeah, I know, a night game after a night game, I'd have been able to recall that too. But it's a day game after a night game.
Right.
People talk about the challenges that presents players, but what about the broadcast?
Yeah, I think I had breakfast. I don't know.
Tap to the left side and under the glove of Castellanos into short left field, and Nunez takes a big turn but holds up there. That ball should have been at least one out, and instead Castellanos didn't play the hop at all. First and second, nobody out.
It's his second error in this 3-game series and the 5th error for the Tigers so far in this series. I think he expected that ball to come up and it stayed down, got underneath him. For Castellanos, that's his 10th error of the year.
Suzuki the batter. Tigers are playing in at the corners, expecting a possible bunt, remembering though that Buxton is hitting behind Suzuki. And Buxton's been very strikeout prone. We'll see how the Twins handle this, and within that what Suzuki wants to do.
Yeah, Kurt 3 hits in last night's ball game.
And he takes a strike with Martinez coming in hard from first base and Castellanos lingering around the third base bag.
If that's the play right there, then Wolf, the pitcher, has to get over there to third base because they're trying to get the force out at third. And what Suzuki wants to do, if he lays down a bunt it right toward third.
Firmly, right? So the third baseman has to make the play.
Right.
Twins had a chance in the first inning with a single and a walk, but didn't score. Now a single and an error, and nobody out here in the second. And Suzuki swings away and falls down. Fouled it off his leg. It might take a little time here to try to walk that off. Ouch.
That left ankle. Take a look right here. Where does it get the foot? Right off the shin, the ankle area.
2 strikes. And now Martinez will go back to the first base bag, and Castellanos about 3/4 of the way back on the skin of the infield. Oh, 0-2 to the Twins catcher.
Get down.
Down the left field line and down for a hit. Rounding third, Nunez is coming home, and Suzuki delivers another big hit, putting the Twins up 1-0.
Good read by Nunez right there, seeing how far that outfielder Collins was playing, and then that little quail that dies in left field. So the breaking ball, and Suzuki doesn't hit sharply, but it lands right there on the grass, and Nunez got a very good read and scores a first run for the Twins.
It's playing time for Byron Buxton. He hasn't seen much playing time here in the last couple of weeks, used as a defensive replacement.
I bet he's going to bunt right here.
Tigers think so. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Well, we have seen Buxton bunt a couple times and beat it out for an infield bunt single. And again, what he wants to do is just bunt that ball down that third baseline and then run like he can toward first base.
Buxton in the lineup in part because he faced Wolf in AAA. And now coming up here with 1 strike in the second inning. And a liner to left center field. It's down for a hit. Running towards the gap. Escobar scores. Suzuki to second on a double by Byron Buxton, and it's 2-0.
Well, he went down and got that breaking ball, lined it into left center. Buxton driving in just his 3rd run of the year, but it's a big double, his 7th. See the slow breaking ball, and Buxton waiting back nicely and then lining it into left center. Escobar scores his 2nd run into the inning thanks to the air, and Suzuki scoots over to 3rd.
First time through the order. The Twins have 4 hits, a walk. Tigers have committed an error, and Wolf has retired just 3 batters. Dozier singled his first time up. Middle infield playing back. They'll give up another run here, and Dozier fouls one away. Couple on the board for the Twins, and more out there to get. Runners at second and third. A very speedy runner at second. The hit to the outfield should double the lead. Checked his swing, but went. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, just one contact here. Even if you get it past the pitcher on the infield, you're going to score a run. And you're also going to maybe advance Buxton over to third.
Oh, 2. Foul back. Out of play.
Well, they tried to go inside. Avila sat way inside, but the ball left up and away. He struck out Sano on a good fastball down and in.
Oh, 2 to Dozier. And now 1-2.
We'll go back to Mike Roth. It was the Brave organization that hired him.
That fourth cup of coffee finally kicked in there.
Kicked in.
1-2. And a pop-up in foul ground. Victor Martinez near the tarp has no play. Again, you know, Randy Wolf has had a great career and tried to keep it going by pitching and pitching well in AAA. But it's really an indictment, I think, of the Tiger farm system that here he is in September in a game that is significant, at least for the visiting team. And Kyle Lobstein isn't making this start. Buck Farmer is not making this start. The Tigers must not feel like they are going to be helping down the line. There's a base hit down the line, and it'll score 2. All the way to the corner. Dozier has a pair of hits and a 2-run double, and it's a 4-0 Twins lead.
Well, he left that pitch up right there, and Dozier hammering it down that left field line. RBIs number 74 and 75 for Bryant. As Suzuki and Buxton score. Well, the big slow curveball. That one stayed up. The one to Buxton down. So good at bat by Bryant. His 39th double of the year.
Jeff Jones to the mound. Again, Wolf really hasn't been fooling people with an ERA of almost 6. He's 0-4 on the season. Had a quality start his last time out against the White Sox, but still walked 4 men in the process. Kyle Ryan getting loose. Had a start against the Royals where he lasted just 3 2/3 innings and gave up 8 earned runs. Here's Hicks. Struck out on a breaking ball down and in his first inning at bat. And a base hit to left. Dozier around third. They're going to wave him around. And the throw all the way to the plate. Tyler Collins took his time to think about it and still threw home, and that allows Hicks to go to second.
Yeah, but that's what you want to do. But Castellanos got to cut that ball off right there. You can't let that ball go all the way to home.
Yeah, but I think it was over his reach.
No, that was right there. We're going to show it back, and it was right at him. Take a look right here. Aaron Hicks lining a ball in the left field. And Brian Dozier, that ball got to Collins pretty quickly. He comes up. He juggles a little bit. But that throw right there, you can see that Castellanos could have leaped up and maybe threw to second. I mean, possible to get Hicks. So the Twins teeing off on Wolf here in the second inning. And Randy Wolf about ready to call Wolf.
1 strike to Mauer. Mauer with a walk his first time up. And a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Twins with 5 runs on the board already here in the second, and nobody out. And Mauer strikes out on 3 pitches, 1 away.
Strikeout number 3 for Randy Wolf, and he gets the first out here in the second inning.
Sano was called out on strikes in his first inning at bat.
.43 pitches already for Randy Wolf.
Up and away, ball 1. The Twins caught a break a couple weekends ago when the Tigers had back-to-back rainouts in Cleveland. Check swing, and it's 2-0. Before the Tigers were going to come to Minnesota to start the last homestand, Justin Verlander was lined up to pitch not only in Minnesota but again here in this series. But because of the back-to-back rainouts, Verlander pitched in the final game in Cleveland on the final day. They actually played a doubleheader that day. Pitched on a Sunday, which meant he would not pitch in Minnesota, and then to follow the rotation through to this turn, would not pitch against the Twins here. 2-0 on the right field line, and spinning back toward the seats and out of the range of J.D. Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez shading Sano to right center. He had to go a long way for that. Had no chance. But this has been a problem that the Tigers have had all year, whether it's Wolf or somebody else. Verlander pitching a lot better as of late, but their starters earned run average combined for the Tigers 4.78.
Worst in the league. 2-1. And Sano to deep right field in the corner, caught by Martinez, tagging from second, going to third is Hicks. So now 2 down, and that'll bring up Hunter. Ninth man to bat in the inning. Torrey hit a line drive to Martinez to end the first inning. We've talked about this before. I mean, some of this is self-inflicted by the Tigers with the pitching that they traded, the starting pitching. Now, no one's going to fault them for not re-signing Max Scherzer. They gave a good effort and threw a lot of years and money in Scherzer's direction, but he wanted to test free agency, and it worked out great for him. He's with the Nationals, of course. Down the line and foul. But they traded Rick Porcello this offseason. Doug Fister dealt. And some of the young potential that they had in their farm system, guys like Drew Smyly, dealt away to bring in the veteran David Price, who's no longer with them. 1 strike to Hunter. 0-2. You see some funny looking swings against Wolf, almost like he's a knuckleballer. Not much velocity on a lot of his pitches, movement.
And he has thrown strikes, though. The Twins have hit a lot of strikes, but 49 pitches, 37 have been over the plate.
And Hunter with a base hit to left, and that will score Hicks. And it's a 6-run inning, and that'll be the end of the day for Randy Wolf.
Yeah, Twins battered around here in the second inning. Torrey driving in his 77th run. Ahead in the count. Tried to come inside, left it over the plate a little bit. And you wonder if Randy Wolf, at 39 years old, is he may get another start or not.
He leaves having retired just 5 batters. And now have gotten into a Detroit bullpen that's had more than a share of issues as well.
Well, Kyle Ryan coming in, he has made 7 starts for the Tigers this year. This is his 15th appearance overall. 4 different stints with the Tigers. Started the season down in Toledo, been called up 3 other times, and then recalled for September. Look-see.
Eduardo Nunez started this 6-run inning with a single. Took a pitch in off the plate, it looked like, and was able to push it over the head of Castellanos. Long look at Hunter at first, big leg kick, and ball 1.
Ryan, just 23 years old, signed by the Tigers in 2010. Came up a little bit last year.
And he takes a strike, 1-1. The Texas-Houston game will get started in about 15 minutes. And the Twins want the Rangers to win that game. Then about an hour and a half after that in Anaheim, the Mariners and Angels game will get underway, and the Twins want the Mariners to win that one. Fouled away.
Well, we got the tail end of that Angel game last night on TV, and they kept showing that catch of Mike Trout. Unbelievable catch. And my son Todd, who's celebrating his 43rd birthday, was at that game last night with his family, and he actually sent me a text and said, "Dad, I just saw the greatest catch ever."
With 2 men on base, he took a home run away, and then the Angels went on to win the game. But at what cost? Houston Street might not pitch again this year with a groin injury that he suffered. 1-2 to Nunez. Stroke foul. And then remembering that last weekend in Minnesota, Joe Smith, who would ordinarily be the guy that would fill in for Street, injured himself in his hotel in Minneapolis. And just a freakish thing where he ended up tumbling down some stairs and spraining an ankle. He was going to try to have a bullpen session yesterday with high top spikes to protect his sprained ankle. So he's not 100%. 1-2 to Nunez. Trevor Gott, I guess right now, is going to be the Angel closer for the end of the season.
Watch out.
And that,
I think that hit Nunez.
That hit Nunez, and he'll go to first. And Hunter will go to second.
Yeah, it looked like a little slider or cutter down and in.
This is, I think, the first time I've seen Nunez go to first without losing his helmet.
Hey, he's not there yet. Take a look at that slider down and in. I got the back foot of Nunez.
And that'll bring up Escobar, who hit a two-hopper to Castellanos, but he kicked off his glove for an error.
Well, this is an inning that the Twins needed right here. I mean, put a big crooked number on the board, but in a situation like they have found themselves in, trying to get that wild card, you like to have a game like this.
Yeah, but as we've said, when the score has been the other way, it's still early, and this Tiger team can score a lot of runs. 1-0 to Escobar.
Yeah, best hitting team in the American League, the Detroit Tigers.
And bounced foul.
Well, that was a big error off the bat of Escobar that Castellanos did not unable to make, and it just mushroomed into a big inning for the Twins.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
You see what Ryan has. He doesn't have an overpowering fastball. A lot of sliders. That last pitch, a changeup. Used mainly as a starter in the minor leagues.
That to right center field, and Martinez glides over to make the catch. Good inning for the Twins. They hang up a 6 and knock the Tiger starter out of the game.
Of the second, leading Detroit 6-0. Brian Dozier hit a 2-run double, and he scored a run. That was his 101st run scored of the season. I asked him about that mile marker before the game, and he said, the way I look at it, there are two ways to analyze this game. You either got to score the runs or you have to drive them in. He said, I take a lot of pride in scoring those runs, but it really is a credit to the guys behind me and the way they've hit the ball. He said it just happens that he is on base. Pretty humble answer there, Dick and Bert, to a guy who now today has done both, drive in the runs and score the run.
Yeah, again, thank you, Marty. Last year, 112 runs scored. That was second most in the American League. So, again, Brian Dozier, congratulations on now over 100 again.
Don't you think that as long as he hits where he's hitting, either first or second, that number can go up and in around the hands? I know Santana wants to have a very quick bottom of the inning. Figures that the middle of the Twins lineup will get more and more productive. Sano for a full season. Rosario will hit, you know what, 6 maybe. Fouled away, 3-2. And Dozier runs well, which will always be an asset for him once he gets on base. I think annually we can expect Dozier to hit triple digits in runs scored, and might see him go significantly north of that number with a stronger middle of the lineup that figures to be the case for the Twins. Bounce to the left side. Nice stop. Nunez comes around firing, and Mauer with a nice dig. I think he got a first hop throw at first base. Good play by Nunez for the first out.
Outstanding defensive play. That ball came up and able to get it and then spin and then get it over to Joe Mauer. So a nice defensive play. We saw Castellanos, who hit that ball. That ball stayed down. That one came up for Nunez. There's some rocks in the infield here in Detroit.
And now 1-0. Collins, the batter. He drove in the 2 runs the Tigers got against Santana in Minnesota in the middle of this month. 1-1. 2-1. 28 pitches for Santana and just 16 strikes. And foul back.
Collins in his second season with the Tigers. A couple stints with them this year. Started for the Tigers this year, then optioned out and then recalled.
Called third strike. 2 down.
And strikeout number 2 for Irvin. Worked the inner half of the plate. Got a slider that went straight down.
And now 4 in a row retired by Santana. Here's Alex Avila. Interesting dynamic here in Detroit because Dave Dombrowski was fired, has since hooked on with the Red Sox. And Dombrowski's first lieutenant, Al Avila, was promoted to the job, and Al Avila happens to be Alex's father. And if the player Avila doesn't return here, ultimately it'll be the decision of the father that he not re-sign his son. I don't know if that's ever been the case in the major leagues before. Avila has had a great career here, but James McCann is their catcher of the future, and I don't know that Avila offensively can be anything more than a backup at first base. And so it might be that Avila will be playing elsewhere at the behest of his father.
Well, what's good about him becoming a free agent, it'll be his decision, not his dad's.
Well,
I mean, his dad could say, hey, well, we'll give you this, but maybe he'll get a better offer somewhere else. Say, Pops, I love you, but I'm going to go play here.
2-2.
Oh, he was considered one of the best catchers in baseball when he first came up in 2009. Had a great 2011 season when he made the All-Star team. Then he had a lot of concussions.
And a base hit to right center field with 2 out. And Avila's going to dig for 2. And he's in with a stand-up double. Good play by Avila driving it to the gap. By the time Buxton got there, he was so far in right center field that Avila got an extra base and a double.
For Avila, just his 5th double of the year. Fastball that came back into that swing zone. Avila hitting it sharply. And Buxton retrieves it, and by the time he got it back in, Avila a 2-out double. 3rd hit for the Tigers.
Josh Wilson will bat. Fouled back. Strike 1.
Wilson, 34 years old, a journeyman infielder. He's played for 9 different teams at the major league level. Came up with the Marlins in 2005. The guy that has played every position on the diamond except catcher.
0-2.
He's pitched 4 times in his career in blowout games.
He may pitch today.
Yeah.
Two strikes to the number 9 batter. And off the outside corner. Crack foul over the tarp. Twins with 6 runs in the top of this inning. And Santana wants to be relentless here.
You know, a guy like Wilson is a guy you kind of root for, because here he's spent 16 seasons in the minor leagues, 11 seasons in AAA, over 5,000 minor league at bats, and he strikes out here.
Leaving Avila at second base, and it's 6-0 after 2. To nothing, and then hoping that the Mariners will beat the Angels. They were on their way last night with 2 men out, already leading 2-0, and then this.
The height goes up, climbs up on the wall, with half his body.
You have to be an athlete to do any part of that. He got to the wall quick enough to where he could jump up, lift himself up to make the catch.
You know, I asked Dan Gladden if he could make that catch, and he said, by the time I got up to the wall, I probably would have fallen over. Unbelievable catch by Mike Trout.
And then the Angels, who were down at the time, ended up getting a couple of late home runs. David Freese with the walk-off winner.
Yeah, in the bottom of the 9th, first batter.
Suzuki, Buxton, and Dozier here in the Twins' 3rd. And there's a strike, 0-2. But again, the Angels, in trying to win that game last night, had Houston Street on the mound, and he had a groin injury back in July and apparently re-injured himself. And so the Angels are without plan A or plan B to close out games. 1-2 to Suzuki. Started the scoring with an RBI single in the second inning.
You know, it's still good baseball. I mean, Angels, that's a must-win for them last night. You know, even the Astros over the Rangers, that was a must-win. I think the Rangers had beaten them 8 straight games. So, yeah, I mean, this is a do-or-die type of time for these 3 ball clubs especially. And the Cleveland Indians aren't out of it either.
Suzuki pops it up short left field. Collins comes in, makes the catch, 1 away. That'll bring up Buxton. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use North Data Strong Fan. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. You have a selfie stick?
No.
Okay. I was at a store the other day and they were selling them, and I've seen them around. You know what they are?
No, I do not.
You don't know what a selfie stick is?
No, I do not.
It's a thing you clamp onto your phone, and then you can hold it out and take a picture.
Oh, that I've seen those. Yes.
Yeah.
I would never get one of those.
Really? Why not?
I don't like myself that much that I'd take a selfie.
1 strike.
Do you have one?
No.
I bet you have one.
I don't have one. I hardly ever use this thing for
Have you ever taken a selfie?
Yes. Well,
now I've had people that want to take a selfie with me, and I say, no, you know, please, you get in the picture with me. Don't just take it just of me. You get in here with me. So I like that. But the selfie? Do you love yourself that much?
Now are you directing that question at me?
No, you don't have one. You don't have one.
I'm trying to think whether I've taken a selfie.
Good breaking ball down and in by Ryan, and he picks up his first strikeout of Buxton.
2 down, and that will bring up Brian Dozier.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas now. One of those sticks.
The first gift you've ever given me.
Well, it'll be one.
Okay. No, I don't want a selfie stick.
You don't?
I do not want a selfie stick, which will only encourage you to go
Okay, good.
ahead.
Then I'll have to get you anything.
Ball 1. High and tight, and it's 2-0.
Always nice to see that leadoff hitter up for the 3rd time in the 3rd inning. 6 runs in the second, 4 of them earned runs off of Randy Wolf.
On the outside corner, 2-1. Two and 2. Hicks on deck, hoping for his 3rd at bat here in the 3rd inning, and now 3-2 to Dozier. Dozier with a single and a double.
He's knocked in 2 of the 6 runs.
Popped up left side. Castellanos near the 3rd base bag. Squeezes it. And Ryan has a 1-2-3 3rd inning. Presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Good start for the Twins with a 6-run second inning. Irvin Santana with a couple of scoreless innings. He's given up 3 hits, but he scattered them around. A couple of singles in the first, a 2-out double in the second.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts for Santana.
Rajay Davis to lead things off, and the first pitch head high over the plate, ball 1.
Yeah, Davis a base hit off of Santana to lead off the bottom of the first inning.
2-0. High fly to left, and Hicks with the catch, 1 away. We'll bring up Ian Kinsler. Today's cold hard fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Kinsler with 60 multi-hit games. Cespedes got some of his multi-hit games here in Detroit. Altuve, some really good names on there. Bogarts could win a batting championship. And a former Tiger Prince Fielder on that list as well. Strike 1 to Kinsler. Fouled out to Mauer his first time up. Bobbled. But Escobar recovers and throws him out. 2 down. Mentioned Bogarts could win a batting championship. He came into play today, 14 points behind Miguel Cabrera, who singled his first time up this afternoon.
Yeah, Cabrera again looking for his number 4 batting title.
One strike.
Won a batting title in 2011 when he hit .344. 2012 hit .330. Then the next year, 2013, he hit .348.
Particularly impressive when you consider that he does not run well. He's a right-handed batter. He has to get his hits to the outfield because he doesn't get many on the infield. And he surely has done that.
A lot of power. Uses the whole field.
Foul to the backstop, 1-2.
$17 home runs this year. 407 career home runs for Cabrera.
1-2 from Santana. Another foul back. And the follow through got Suzuki. And Cabrera checks, make sure he's okay. And another 1-2 pitch. Missing inside, 2-2.
Yeah, Cabrera gets traded over here to the Tigers from the Marlins. You wonder if Miami would ever, if they look back and say, what if we had Cabrera and Stanton in the same lineup? Oh boy, that got Suzuki.
It's been a tough at bat for the Twins catcher.
Oh boy. Boy, and he keeps bouncing back up, doesn't he?
Two and two.
Got him again.
Now, a few pitches ago, I thought it was the follow through, and Cabrera is asking the Twins to come out and check on Suzuki, and he says, No, I'm fine. I thought it was Cabrera's follow through that hit him, but that might have been a foul tip too.
Oh, this one got maybe his right arm right here. Oh boy, right off the shoulder.
He's saying, look, to Cabrera, if you really feel bad, just swing and miss.
Hit it the other way, would you?
And another foul, but it missed both the catcher and the umpire.
You see Suzuki getting out of the way. Right between them.
I don't understand Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire, wanting to get as far away from Suzuki. Like he's a foul tip magnet. 3-2 now with Victor Martinez on deck. Another foul back.
Well, you don't mind these battles, but in the age of the pitch count, you don't like that. 11 pitches so far in this at bat. 56 pitches now for Santana.
6 2-strike fouls. And now a walk. And after all of that, Cabrera and Santana glare at one another, and Cabrera will go to first, pat Suzuki on the head as he leaves.
He's just a big kid that loves to play the game, and that's Miguel Cabrera.
Twins take on the Royals next weekend on October 2nd through the 4th at Target Field. Fan Appreciation Weekend is Friday and Saturday, presented by U.S. Bank, and all fans receive a Twins stocking cap presented by West Bend. Then Sunday, it's Kids Appreciation Day. The first 10,000 fans 14 and under get a TC stocking cap courtesy of our family brands. 833 Twins, twinsbaseball.com for tickets. Here is Victor Martinez outside, ball one. Santana, of course, doesn't want to let the Tigers off the hook here by giving up a run or two. Falling behind Victor Martinez 2-0. To left center and very deep. Buxton sprinting after it, and he covers it to make the catch in front of the flagpole. A long out for the third out of the third inning. Health injury report. The Cardinals have been dealt so many significant injuries, have another one to deal with. Our Sanford Health injury report. Carlos Martinez will be shut down for the rest of the season. Threw 7 pitches and didn't feel right. As we move to the 4th inning, and Aaron Hicks leading off. Outside, ball 1. Hicks, Mauer, and Sano in the Twins' 4th inning. And down the line, but foul. Ryan entered the game in the 2nd inning at a 1-2-3 third. 2-1.
Yeah, Ryan, a lefty. They have him listed him at 6'5", about 180. Throws a bit across his body.
And a base hit to right for Hicks. His 2nd hit of the ball game. Rolling a base hit through the right side of the infield. Every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Mauer at the plate. A walk and a strikeout so far. Striking out on 3 pitches in the 2nd.
Yeah, that against the Tigers starter Randy Wolf, who had 3 strikeouts in an inning and a third. Twins got scored 6 runs, 4 earned off of him on 7 hits. And Kyle Ryan just giving up his first hit in relief to Aaron Hicks.
Off the plate, 1-0. Slide step and a pitch over for a strike. 1-1. So Ryan look at Hicks and quickly deliver the ball to the plate. 6-0, but this is still
early.
Yeah, exactly. So Hicks is a threat to steal here if he can get a good read against Ryan. Big leg kick that time, and a pitch missing inside. 2-1. Hicks with a big steal of third base in the ball game last night. Big leg kick and a chopper right back to Ryan. He spins and fires and starts a double play. 2 down, and that'll bring up Miguel Sano.
Yeah, Joe brought it into a double play in last night's ball game. Excuse me, a couple nights ago. Now hit into 21 double plays. Right back at the pitcher. You know who's covering. That's the shortstop. Throw it over the bag. And Josh Wilson able to turn the double play.
Big swing and a miss by Sano. Texas got a run in the top of the 1st inning. They lead Houston 1-0 after 1. Trying to beat Dallas Keuchel at home, which hasn't been done this year.
What, Houston had 6 home runs in yesterday's ball game,
and then hung on for dear life afterwards. Luke Gregerson and A.J. Hinch had an interesting exchange, with Hinch coming out to take his closer out. Gregerson didn't want to come out, wouldn't look his manager in the eye, and I would imagine whatever feelings were ruffled, they got that straightened out today. And Sano grounds one foul.
Yeah, what I understand, A.J. Hinch was walking out and he said, "Don't cross that line." He didn't want him to come take him out. Which is a competitiveness thing. I mean, that's okay, but you don't want to show up your manager either.
And fouled away. I remember when Joe Nathan was with the Twins and his pitch count had climbed very high, and Nathan somehow ended up in foul territory in front of the Twins dugout, and Ron Gardenhire started up the steps, and Nathan said, "I got this." Pretty much what Gregerson said last night, but he was in foul territory, and Gardy never got out of the dugout. But once the manager comes out of the dugout, it's a bit odd that a pitcher would confront him in the way that he did. Sano strikes out. 3 men back in the 4th. Twins still lead 6-0. In the middle of September, then settled down, pitched awfully well, and he's got a good one going so far here today.
You know, I go back to that outing he had against the Tampa Bay Rays back on the August 25th that he was struggling. I mean, he had a tough time getting good outs, but you know what? That man right there, Neil Allen, just took him down to the bullpen. They ran some different little drills, basically told him, hey, you're falling off toward first base. Go more toward the catcher with your upper torso, and he took it off from there. Had the next outing against the Astros in Minnesota, 7 shutout innings, and he's been really lights out ever since. So good job by Neil Allen.
1 strike to Martinez. And a high fly to left, and Hicks is standing right underneath it.
Well, and this is what Santana needs right here as Hicks makes the catch. Some quick outs. 61 pitches already for Santana.
Carsoup.com trivia question. Which pitcher holds the Twins team record for wins in the month of September? So we don't need to know a number, just a pitcher.
We can guess. Kind of like Jim Cott.
I wonder, this could be a trick question. I wonder if it's not a relief pitcher. If a relief pitcher got like 5 wins.
Bill Campbell when he won 17 games.
Yeah. There's Castellanos with a fly toward right.
Vulture.
Hunter with the catch and a quick second out. You know, you touched on it. It really may have transformed Santana's season and career with the Twins. But the specifics of that bullpen session were interesting because there were some. I was watching it at Target Field, and there was some interesting things that Neil Allen had Santana do. One was start behind the mound and stride uphill on the back slope of the mound to try to get the ball down a little bit. And then as Neil Allen called it, the shortstop drill. There's a pitch, ball 1 to Collins, where Allen knelt in front of the mound and rolled baseballs up the mound, forcing Santana to field it backhand. Another fly to left. We won't even have a chance to finish this. Hicks with room in left, leaps and can't make the play. And Collins will go to second. Hicks got there and felt for the wall. And again, he's not used to playing left field. And he kind of looked like the inexperience showed up there.
Well, the ball had some height on it. Aaron Hicks had a chance to go back, and he leaped for it and see where it hit him right here. Looking. Okay, now he's against the wall, leaps up. And I don't know if he touched the ball or not.
I think it hit the glove.
Yeah, maybe off the glove. Might have saved a home run right there. But Collins credited with a double, his 10th of the year. So it's another 2-out hit for the Tigers.
Avila will bat. He doubled with 2 outs in the second. But just to continue the thought, he would roll balls up the mound. Santana had to bend over, backhand the baseball, pick it up, and then get into a throwing position, which again was to reinforce the idea of don't open up, square your shoulders, and direct your energy toward home plate.
Kind of like anybody defensively behind Santana. I mean, you can look at the outfield, you can look at an infielder. When they throw a ball, say to Joe Mauer, if Escobar, let's use the shortstop drill, Escobar gets the ball, he's going to basically look at that with his shoulder and then throw that ball directly, a four-seamer, to Joe Mauer. So that's what that drill's all about, is to get your left shoulder in long enough. Don't let it fly open. And that's what he was doing, falling off toward that first baseline.
Well, to me, it sounds innovative, and it really worked. Maybe pitching coaches have been doing that for 100 years, but I've never seen it in play before. I've never actually seen something like that.
I have not either.
1-2 to Avila, with Santana trying to clean up the 4th inning.
But credit Santana too, because here's a veteran. You know, he 8 years with the Angels. He pitched for the Royals 1 year, the Braves 1 year, so 10 years. This is the 11th major league season. Willing to work at it. You know, a lot of veterans will say, I'm okay. Hey, I've pitched enough. You don't, what do you know?
Right.
You know, I mean, he was willing to go down there and work at it and improve, and boy, has he ever.
2-2 to Avila. 70th pitch of the ball game for Santana. He'd like to at least complete 6 innings here today. 3-2. Wilson on deck.
Well, Santana, one of these starters that we'll see in the years to come. You can go a little bit deeper with him, kind of like Tyler Duffy. You know, he ended up throwing 112 pitches last night. He said he felt great after the ball game. But a guy that doesn't really put a lot of extra, he'll change speeds. He's got a very solid delivery. Good off-speed pitch right there. Adding and subtracting, that's why Santana has been successful at this level.
Another 3-2 to Alex Avila. That's to left. Hicks going back. The same spot on the wall, in front of the wall. He makes the catch, and that ends the 4th inning. 4 shutout innings for Santana, and the Twins still up 6-0. fans of the game enjoying a sunny afternoon here at Comerica Park with some ballpark food and a 6-0 Twins lead. And Torrey Hunter taking strike one. Hunter with an RBI single and a line out. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Kyle Ryan doing a good job since taking over for Randy Wolf in the second inning. Couple strikeouts. He's given up only one hit, and that was the Hicks leadoff single last inning.
Tapper left side, picked up by Wilson, and Hunter retired, 1 away. Twins fans, you can find out now how to buy tickets to potential postseason games at Target Field on Wednesday. The general public will be able to buy tickets to a potential wild card game as well as division series games played at Target Field beginning at 10 a.m. on the 30th. All you have to do is visit twinsbaseball.com. Tickets will be available online only. And Nunez has a sharp base hit. He's reached all 3 times, 2 singles, and he was hit by a pitch.
Yeah, he started that 6-run second inning off a base hit off of Randy Wolf right there, jumping on that first fastball. And for the Twins, picking up their 10th hit of the ball game.
Escobar is 0 for 2.
Excuse me, the 9th hit.
When the Twins finished the 2014 season, they ended up changing shortstops. The plan was Danny Santana would come into the infield and play at short. I don't know that the Twins will contemplate that. When Escobar did it last year, I think the feeling was, well, yeah, it was a good year for him. Congratulations and all. But now he's done it 2 years in a row. And I think moving forward, the Twins have some issues to be sure. I'm not so sure shortstop's one of them. He has played steadily in the field. He's produced offensively. He's the ideal switch hitter in that there's not a big spread between his right-handed numbers and his left-handed numbers. He's produced from both sides of the plate. And I think the Twins might very well decide to focus their attention elsewhere and come back with the same shortstop in 2016.
Well, we kind of talked about it, you know, in our post game last night, Dick, about Escobar, about I believe it was last night before, about the importance of what he brings. You want to be strong up the middle, and this guy not only brings a great attitude, good work ethic, day in and day out. You saw the averages from both sides of the plate, very steady. But he wants to play every day too.
And has been able to produce. I mean, it hasn't been a situation. I mean, you played with a lot of guys, utility players. If you played them every day, at some point they wear down. They're not productive. But this guy is playing like an everyday player. 3-1. He's even drawing walks. First and second, 1 down.
First walk that Ryan has allowed, along with a hit batsman. He hit Nunez in the second inning.
And Jeff Jones to the mound. Ryan has gone public with the idea that he prefers pitching out of the bullpen rather than starting. But the Tigers, at least as they're wrapping up this season, they've got some holes in their rotation.
Yeah, he kind of signed out of high school in Florida as a starter, and you look at his minor league numbers, they're all starts basically in the minor leagues. But you'll see kids that come up to the big leagues mainly starting in the bullpen. He made 1 start last year and 6 relief appearances for the Tigers. And that was a good start. Made his major league debut August 30th of last year against the White Sox and won 8-4. He pitched 6 shutout innings.
Here is Suzuki. Drove in the first run in the second inning with a single. And the front runner goes. And staying on the bag, a stolen base for Nunez. As he swipes third.
Castellanos would like Brad Ausmus, I think, to look at that. Saw Aaron Hicks steal third here the other night. See if Nunez, he slides by the bag. Castellanos keeping the tag on him.
And Ryan standing behind the mound until he is told whether the Tigers will challenge or not. And Brad Ausmus decides not to. So a stolen base for Nunez. First and third, one down, and Suzuki with an 0-1 count.
And Nunez credited with his 7th stolen base of the year.
And now 0-2.
Suzuki putting a good finish together here in the month of September. That average was down in the 230s, currently hitting at 245.
Popped up. Victor Martinez in foul ground. Makes the catch right at the railing. And Nunez left at third base. Out number 2. To bring up Buxton.
Now Martinez going over there. You can see that big first baseman's glove needed right there as he catches the out right against his stance.
And here's Buxton. An RBI double in the 6-run second inning. And a strikeout in the third. Inside, ball 1. Fly ball left center field. Davis with the catch, and the inning ends. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Twins still up 6-0.
lead. And Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, you bring your Circle Me signs. You might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
You realize, of course, and we talked about this the other night, you've been circling fans for about 14, 15 years, but it has evolved into much more of an oval. You become more ovally than circling.
Well, my telly is kind of like, you know, a rectangle type.
No, I understand. I understand. You've got
if it was higher, then I could do a
and maybe it's been,
circle like the moon last night.
You know what I bet it is? When you started, we just had standard definition and the standard dimensions of television, but now we've got the high def screen, which is wider, and I'll bet you that's why your circles have flattened out into more of an oval. That's my theory.
Okay, I think you should stick to that.
One down. And here's Rajai Davis.
Okay, the next time in Cleveland, if they give me a telestrator.
I don't think you get one.
Oh, okay. When we get home, I will try to do a perfect circle like the moon last night. The big moon with a little man on a bike.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just, you know, pointing out that it's become more of an oval than a circle. That happens. But things change.
Circle Me Bird sounds a lot better than Oval Me Bird.
Right.
That sounds like my grandfather.
2 strikes to Davis.
Well, 75 pitches for Santana, 48 strikes. Now he has gone 7 or more innings in his last 5 starts. Well, Twins would like to get that out of him again here this afternoon.
And a strikeout for out number 2.
And strikeout number 4 for Santana, his first since the 2nd inning.
Zubas Palooza coming to Target Field. It's next weekend, Friday. Twins taking on the Royals, and you can take advantage of a special offer. You get a reserve seat and your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubas pants. You can take advantage of the special offer available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubas. See if Santana can get through the 5th inning with 80 or fewer pitches. There's ball 1 to Kinsler. Kinsler 0 for 2, fouling out to Mauer and grounding out to Escobar. Now a ground out to Nunez.
Good inning.
78 pitches for Santana through 5 shutout innings. Sports North is presented by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, the classic quarter pounder with cheese only at McDonald's, and right now just $3. Twins scoring in just one inning again today, but the big 6-run second inning has given them a comfortable lead at this point against the Tigers. 1 strike to Dozier. Dozier with a single and a double in the first couple innings. And now a Tapper foul. He hit a pop-up to Castellanos in the third. In the last 25 years, Dozier doing something that just 4 other players have done. Humping away, and it's 1-2.
See, I would have thought Tony Oliva would be on that list.
I said the last 25 years.
Oh, 25 years. Yeah. Okay. I should probably start listening to you then.
Well, with 21 years working together, I don't, why change now?
Ryan picks up a strikeout, his 3rd in relief.
1 down. Houston got a couple of runs on a Jake Marisnick double. And Houston has a 2-1 lead over Texas. Here's Hicks. A couple of hits, a run scored, an RBI. Paul Molitor sending out a batting order that's top heavy in terms of on-base percentage. Dozier can draw some walks, has reached base a couple of times. Hicks' on-base percentage from this side of the plate very good. Mowers typically is, and then the power of Sano and Hunter in the middle of the lineup. Bernansky talking it over with the manager. Twins in position here, leading 6-0 to pick up their 80th win of the year. Two and 1 to Hicks. 3-1.
Aaron got a fastball away in his last at bat and lined it into right field for his 2nd hit.
And a walk will send Hicks to first base.
And a 2nd walk for Ryan.
Fox Sports North is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Twin Cities to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Alaris Mortgage Girls on the Run Fall 5K Saturday, November 14th at Harriet Island Pavilion. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events. Mauer takes a strike at the knees. Joe with a walk, a strikeout, and he had a comebacker to the mound that was turned into a double play in the 4th. Paul Molitor said again today that the base stealing on this Twins team this year has been a bit of a disappointment, and will be something that will be addressed before the 2016 season.
It's a big part of winning close ball games, stealing bases, and the Twins now have 69 stolen bases. They've been caught 38 times. Dozier has 11. Hicks leads the Twins with 13. But a lot of times it's not stealing a base, it's being able to go from first to third on a base hit.
Line to Martinez, who gets the double play with his left hand stinging from the line drive. Ouch!
It's mentioned in the first inning when he gave up a couple base hits of the first 2 of the 3 batters he faced. To get a guy like Santana or any good pitcher, you have to get him early. But what he's been able to do, especially the last couple innings, look at that, 12 in the 4th and only 6 in the 5th. He has settled down nicely. Now, this is a big inning because he's going right through the meat part of the lineup with Cabrera and the 2 Martinezes.
First pitch outside, ball 1. Cabrera with a single and a walk. And now a strike. Fox Tracks presented by Ram. He's now pitched 11 straight shutout innings against the Tigers in his last 2 starts. And he drops a breaking ball over, paused at in the middle of his delivery.
Kind of hesitated a second right there.
Well, they had a little exchange. Remember, Cabrera fouled off 6 2-strike pitches and then ended up drawing a walk in the 3rd. And as Cabrera was unbuckling his ankle guard, he and Santana were looking at one another. And so Santana mixed it up a little bit on that pitch and dropped a curve over for a strike, and now it's a full count.
They tried the curveball, started in, but missed in.
And he missed outside. He's
Second
issued,
time.
he's issued 2 walks both times to Cabrera. And now Victor Martinez. A couple of outfield flies for Martinez.
Santana making sure who was covering, and it will be the shortstop Escobar. The ball is hit back to him. Yeah, Martinez has hit a couple long fly balls. Aaron Hicks against the warning track, and then Buxton had to run one down in deep left center.
Yeah, right in front of the flagpole out there. Ball 1.
Well, the Twins really wish they could have had Santana the whole season.
Well, presumably they will next year for the next 3 years. 2-0. Well, this is not how Santana wanted to start the 6th inning. A leadoff walk, and now he's fallen behind a very good hitter. 2-0. Double play grounder. Dozier to Escobar, and all kinds of time to throw to first. 2 down.
Well, big double play, turn behind Santana, and behind an account he threw a fastball, and a lot of times you'll see Martinez try to hit the ball the other way, but it hit it sharply right at Dozier. Santana getting his 9th double play turn behind him.
J.D. Martinez will bat. Struck out with 2 men aboard and 2 out in the 1st. That was a significant strikeout because the Twins hadn't scored yet. And if the Tigers had scored the first runs of the game in the 1st inning, who knows what happens after that. But Santana on a check swing got Martinez. The Tigers haven't had a runner to 3rd base all afternoon long. 1-1. And a leaping catch by Nunez.
Escobar's laughing at him. I know he is.
Just 3 men bat for the Tigers in the 6th.
Suzuki in a big 6-run inning. Now all these hits off of the Tiger starter, Randy Wolf. A big RBI double by Buxton. Brian Dozier with a 2-run double. Aaron Hicks with an RBI single. There's Hicks' single right there. And then an RBI single by Torrey Hunter. And Randy Wolf's afternoon was done quickly as the Twins took an early 6-0 lead, and Irvin Santana has worked 6 shutout innings. He's given up only 4 hits, a couple doubles, a couple singles.
And a new pitcher, Jeff Farrell, will come into the game for Detroit. He'll face Sano, Hunter, and Nunez.
Farrell making just his 7th appearance for the Tigers.
One 1-0. Sano, 2 strikeouts and a fly to right. And a pop-up. Martinez over near the tarp again. But this one's out of play.
Jeff Farrell, just 24 years old in his first season with the Tigers. Couple stints with him this year. Once in July and then optioned back to AAA. Then recalled. Started the season in AA, moved up to AAA.
Breaking ball. And Sano kind of buckles and takes strike 2. Third strikeout of the day for Miguel Sano. That'll bring up Hunter.
Good job by Kyle Ryan in relief. 4 1/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed, no runs, couple walks, 3 strikeouts.
Hunter drove in a run with a 2nd inning single, 1 for 3 on the day. That's hit to right. And retreating is Martinez. Out number 2. Establish postseason priority this October by buying 2016 season tickets. Don't miss an inning of postseason play and experience exclusive sweet spot benefits like 10% off food and beverage at Target Field. For more info or to place a deposit, call 612-375-7454 or visit twinsbaseball.com/season tickets today. 2 down on the 7th, and now Nunez. He's reached all 3 times, a couple of singles. He was hit by a pitch. Strike 1. Tapper to short. Backhanded by Wilson. And the Twins are done. They go 1-2-3 in the 7th inning on a total of just 7 pitches. Absolutely gorgeous afternoon here in Detroit, and with the Twins leading 6-0, it is our pleasure to bring you God Bless America. Abby Hyde will be the vocalist.
Fans, at this time we ask you all to please rise and join us in the singing of God Bless America, performed today by Abby Hyde.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
finished his last start against the Tigers with 6 shutout innings, has added 6 more here today. Just 4 hits allowed, a couple of walks, Cabrera both times.
Yeah, he's done a real good job over the last 3 innings, keeping that pitch count down right now at 90. 55 have been strikes. So one reason he is out there for the 7th inning, it'll be 6 starts in a row if he's able to complete this, that he's gone at least 7 innings. Very, very important. Give that bullpen some time off.
Some guys out there have had long outings. Glenn Perkins parts of 2 innings the other night. And then Trevor May got through the 8th inning last night, giving up a couple of hits, but he threw a lot of pitches. Of course, he's just coming back from the back spasms. Ball 1, now ball 2. Castellanos, Collins, and Avila in the 7th inning. Three and 0. Santana issued a leadoff walk in the 6th, but then got a ground ball, a double play off the bat of Victor Martinez. And a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, 2 walks for Santana, both of them being Cabrera.
Castellanos with a bouncer to third and a fly ball to right. Rapp to third, 2 hops to Nunez. 1 down. And Santana keeps stringing impressive starts together at the most important part of the year.
I'll show you some of his 4 strikeouts right here. And there they are. Getting Davis his last strikeout in the 5th inning.
Collins called out on strikes in the 2nd. Hit the double off the glove of Hicks near the left field fence. Now a drive to right center field. Now one hops the wall. Buxton turns and fires, and it's another double for Collins, who has picked up 3 doubles this year against Irvin Santana. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: who's the pitcher?
I'll go with Jim Perry.
I'm going to go Brad Radke.
Jim Cott. We mentioned Kitty.
6 complete games in 1967.
Wow, what a finish.
And there are Twins fans, me among them, who'd rather not even think about the finish to the 1967 season. Twins losing those games in Boston and losing the pennant. I was a resident of Central Missouri at the time, and I was looking forward to a big Twins Cardinals World Series that never happened. And I was living in Central Missouri for Super Bowl IV, and the Vikings 16-point favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs. That didn't turn out too well either. Mauer diving to his right, makes a fine play and underhands it to Santana. 2 down.
Nice defensive play by Joe Mauer, and that's what you want your first baseman to do. He was playing off the line a little bit. Now Brian Dozier right behind him, but Joe going to his right, diving and coming up with it, and then the little shovel pass over to Santana for the 2nd out. So the Tigers do get a runner to third base for the first time in a ball game, but it comes with 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Josh Wilson, the number 9 batter. Wilson struck out swinging in the 2nd and hit a fly ball to right. This to left center field toward the gap, and it's down. And a mirror image of the double by Collins, and the Tigers are on the board. A 2-out double for Josh Wilson, and it's 6-1.
Well, Wilson, as I mentioned, a journeyman minor leaguer, 16 years in the minor leagues, over 5,000 at-bats in the minor league. He's got a fastball, driving in his 4th run of the year on his 2nd double.
And now Santana will face Davis, and he needs to stop things right here. Single runs aren't going to do the Tigers much good at this point of the game, but you don't want things to progress from here with Kinsler, Cabrera, guys like that coming up.
Yeah, 100 pitches now for Ervin Santana. 61 strikes. Struck out Davis in the 5th inning. On that pitch right there. That good slider down and away.
0-2. Set up away again. In the dirt, 1-2.
They laid off of that one. Santana making his 312th major league start. He has 125 wins, 104 losses. He has 14 complete games, 7 shutouts in his career. Almost 2,000 innings pitched.
2-2.
He tried that slider again, and Davis, who swung through it in the 5th inning, has taken a couple. There's 4 straight sliders to Davis.
Pitch number 104.
Make it 5.
And a strikeout of Davis. The Tigers get a couple of doubles in their first run in the 7th. Twins still in front, 6-1. Santana giving the Twins 7 very strong innings again here this afternoon.
Neil Allen talking to him right there. There's some action in the Twins bullpen. 105 pitches for Santana. Another outstanding outing if he is done. Jose Valdez coming into the ball game, making his 7th appearance.
Face the bottom third of the Twins lineup, starting with Escobar, then Suzuki and Buxton. Twins haven't scored since the 2nd inning, and if they had or do score a few more runs and they don't give any back, you might see a pinch hitting appearance by Max Kepler, who's yet to play in a big league game. But at 5 runs, it's kind of hard to take regulars out in a critical game. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Valdez with a very good fastball, threw a fastball right by Escobar right there. Also a slider and a changeup. 3 different stints this season with the Tigers, recalled on September 4th for the 3rd time.
it's 1-2. Thing too about Escobar is we've seen his best at bats seem to be later in the games. You know, how many times have we seen him go 0 for 2 and then he'll get a hit in the 6th inning or in the 8th inning. Twins are in a stretch now where they're playing some low scoring games. Every game so important, and those at bats later in the game do carry more significance than the ones early in the game.
Well, I'll give you a kind of a breath of fresh air last night when he hit the 2-run home run, because it's a 4-2 ball game, and all of a sudden it's 6-2.
1-2 to Escobar. And now 2-2. Valdez thought he had strike 3. Valdez has got a little Fernando Rodney in him, except he wears his cap straight.
Valdez signed out of the Dominican Republic back in 2009 by the Tigers, so it has taken him a while to get to the big leagues.
Popped up behind third, chased by Castellanos and Wilson. Castellanos makes the catch, 1 away. To bring up Suzuki. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to North Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast, brought to you by T-Mobile. Suzuki with an RBI single his first time up, then a fly to left and a foul out to Martinez. Strike 1. One and one. After today's game, 6 straight night games. And I think you can expect Suzuki to catch all 6 of those games. And if it comes down to the last day of the season, there's no way he's not going to catch Sunday afternoon.
Well, you know what? When the lineups came out this afternoon, I thought maybe it would be Herman or Fryer, but you know, to see Suzuki is kind of like, wow, that's awesome. And the guy gets beat up back there last night. Had a great night at the plate. 3 hits, drove in a big run, the first run for the Twins.
2-1, 3-1. Just today now, if he did in fact talk his way into the lineup, expressed an unwillingness to sit today. He fouled the ball off his foot and was left in the dirt, crumpled in pain. Then in one at bat, he took 3 foul tips, 2 against the mask and 1 against the shoulder. Big swing and a foul, 3-2. Foul back.
Slider right there by Valdez. Valdez down in AAA, mainly as a reliever, and that's what he's been throughout his career. He's never made a minor league start. 4 wins, 5 losses out of the bullpen in Toledo in 42 games. ERA at 3.2.
Chopper to short. Easy play for Wilson. And Martinez with some interesting footwork around the bag. 2 down.
I noticed that.
Down, and that'll bring up Byron Buxton. Casey Fiend, Michael Tonkin down the bullpen. Fiend warmed up yesterday but did not pitch. We'll see whether he gets the call for the bottom of the 8th or whether it's Tonkin. Buxton doubled in a run, scored a run, a 6-run second inning. Ball 1.
See, to me, this is an interesting at bat because Buxton, who has struck out a lot, 41 times in 120 plate appearances, this guy throws hard. So let's see if he can catch up to his fastball.
A drive to left field. Going back is Collins. This one back, and it is gone. Byron Buxton hit his first major league home run. And it will be an interesting at bat for Byron Buxton.
Yes, it will be. I sense something if he could catch up to that fastball, and boy, did he ever. And watch the dugout. Watch the dugout. Ho hum. Ho hum. Nobody getting up. Well, what did you do? I was watching Torrey Hunter when we showed the dugout, and Torrey kind of told everybody, hey, give him the cold shoulder. Well, congratulations to Byron Buxton. His first major league home run. And his hitting coach right there. Spent a lot of time with him. Tom Bernansky.
1-1 to Dozier. Dozier with hits his first 2 times up. 2-1. Buxton with a couple of extra base hits, the double in the second, now the home run. And Dozier takes one inside, 3-1. Hicks on deck. Skied to left. Collins with the catch. That ends the inning. The 7th run for the Twins today, one that Byron Buxton will never forget. 7-1 lead, and now Michael Tonkin will come in to pitch the 8th inning for the Twins.
Yeah, Tonkin pitched here on Friday night in the 6-4 loss. He got credited for a third of an inning through 2 pitches, but that was when Goes took off for second base and was called out, making his 24th relief appearance.
Twins have now hit 151 home runs in 155 games with a little bit of a run here in the season's final week. They could average a home run per game played. Dixon Machado grounds one towards third. Nunez has had a busy day there, and he throws perfectly to Mauer.
Yeah, he's made every play over there. Very nice play by Nunez.
Every weekday, America's Pregame brings you live reports from the biggest games to get you ready for all the action. Catch America's Pregame at 4 p.m. Central, only on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
It looks like Brad Ausmus is going to let some other guys play in this ball game.
Brian Holiday will hit for Cabrera.
Holiday, one of the backup catchers here.
Ball one. Marte's in the on-deck circle. He will hit in Victor Martinez's spot. Foul away. 1-1.
Holiday in his 4th season with the Tigers. A couple stints with them this year. Spent some most of the season down in AAA Toledo.
Nunez again. And every throw has been chest high across the diamond to Mauer.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
If the Twins win this game, they'll be 8-11 in the season series with Detroit, which isn't great, but when you consider when they lost the first 3 games to the Tigers here to get the season started, Nunez with 3 assists, tying a major league record for assists in an inning, which has been tied many, many times. Yesterday by winning, and they're leading comfortably here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Tom Gorzolani will come out of the Tiger bullpen.
Yeah, Gorzolani has pitched for the Pirates, Cubs, Nationals, Brewers in his first season with the Tigers, making his 46th relief appearance.
The Tigers changing some things out in the field behind Gorzolani. Twins will send up Hicks, Mauer, and Sano. Moya is now in right field. Machado's in at short. Wilson moves to second. Marte's at first, and Gorzolani on the mound. And as Hicks stands in, catcher Alex Avila, who's played so well for this organization, catching a complete game in what might be his last game in the Tiger white uniforms. Strike of the knees. Hicks, Mauer, and Sano due up for the Twins.
Gorzolani was always a left-hander that kind of came three-quarters, and what they are doing to him is making him drop down almost sidearm or a little underneath.
Down and away, 1-1. Curious whether the Twins send Sano up third this inning or whether they might send Kepler up for his first big league at bat. Sano's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Hicks takes a strike. Been a good day at the plate for Hicks. Struck out in the first, but then an RBI single in the second, another single in the fourth, and he drew a walk in the sixth. Two and two.
Gorzolani, 33 years old. He's had a couple tough last years, and he's not pitching well this year. And Jeff Jones kind of changed his delivery a little bit.
Breaking ball pulled foul. Kepler, batting gloves on, bat in hand. I think that's exactly how this is going to play out here. Looks like Kepler might be getting ready to hit for Sano, or he's just dropping a real strong hint to the manager. 3-2 now to Aaron Hicks.
Gorzolani has walked 22 in 36 2/3 innings.
Lifted to right. Retreating a few steps. Moya makes the catch, one away. That'll bring up Mauer. Follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.TV Game of the Day. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Mauer in the box and Sano in the on-deck circle. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Mauer with a walk in the first, struck out on 3 pitches in the second. Comebacker to the mound and a ground ball double play in the fourth, and then he hit a rocket to Martinez, who caught it and stepped on the bag for a double play in the sixth. On the ground to Kinsler. 2 down.
Yeah, that's Wilson now at second.
I'm sorry, Wilson second. And Kepler has come out onto the on-deck circle. He would hit for Hunter if Sano reaches. So Sano will bat, and we'll see what they do. If Sano makes it out, of course Kepler hasn't been announced. Hunter could still go out to right field for the bottom of the inning. But let's hope Sano reaches here. Swing and a miss. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Kepler's hoping that he reaches. 1-1. Sano and Kepler were teammates in Chattanooga.
Yeah, Kepler just named a minor league player of the year by the Twins organization.
Southern League MVP.
And Jose Barrios, for the second straight season, the minor league pitcher of the year
for the Twins. 2-1 to Sano. Three and one.
He should get a pitch to hit here.
And he hits it. A drive to right center field. Sano rounding first, on his way to second, and he's going to open it up for a triple, and he's almost spins out as he rounds second base. Here's the throw to third base, and Kepler will have his chance thanks to Sano's 2-out triple here in the ninth.
Well, it just shows you how hard Sano hits the ball. My goodness, when he makes good solid contact, that ball that got out there in a hurry, and Sano with his first major league triple. Almost fell right there, but a stand-up triple.
And now here is Max Kepler in his first major league at bat. He hit .322 at Double-A, 32 doubles, 13 triples, 9 home runs, 71 runs batted in, 76 runs scored. He is from Berlin, Germany. And this is not the son of a father in the military. He is a German, born and bred. His mother a professional ballet dancer. His father still teaches ballet. 1-0. A high fly down the right field line. And a foul ball. 1-1.
Yeah, really didn't start playing baseball till at an older age. He was basically a soccer player.
Twins and some other teams were interested in Kepler, understanding that it would be a project, trying to take someone who's a good athlete in high school who had played some baseball and sign them professionally. He moved to this country at age 16. 1-1. Out in front of the off-speed pitch, 1-2.
Spent most of his time down in Fort Myers. Actually went to that high school we talked about a couple days ago, South Fort Myers High School, brand new high school, about 4 or 5 years old, right outside the minor league complex. He ended up getting his high school diploma there.
1-2 to Kepler. Checks his swing, 2-2.
Named the minor league player of the year for the Twins, the Sherry Robinson Award.
Two and two to Kepler. And strikes out. And that ends the ninth inning. Twins taking a 6-run lead to the bottom of the inning. Been a good ball game for the Twins. Max Kepler taking over in right field for Torrey Hunter. And the Twins have a chance to leave Detroit.
You know,
mission accomplished, having won the series.
You know, that's kind of cool for Kepler, saying, you know what, I pinched hit for Torrey Hunter.
Yeah.
He struck out. He won't leave. He won't say that, but he'll say that he pinched hit for Torrey. Well, Michael Tonkin out there for his second inning of relief. Got 3 ground ball outs in the 8th inning.
Moya hitting in what was Martinez's spot leading off the 9th. Fastball away. What we saw Moya in Minnesota a week and a half ago is the inability to hit a breaking ball. Tonkin started with a fastball outside. 2-0. Tonkin, who had a good 8th inning, 1, 2, 3 ground balls to Nunez, wants to make sure he closes the deal here.
And Moya, one of these young kids, just 24 years old, signed by the Tigers out of Dominican Republic back in 2008. A lot of power, but also a lot of strikeouts in the minor leagues.
3-0. And a strike.
Big kid, 6'7", about 260.
And now 3-2, another fastball.
AAA this year for Moya. Started the season in Single A, then moved up to AAA after 9 ball games. 23 home runs, but he struck out 175 times in 540 at bats.
And a check swing on a fastball, bounced foul. And a fastball gets him nothing but fastballs, and Moya strikes out 1 down. Twins fly across the lake to Cleveland, open up a 4-game series tomorrow night. Phil Hughes against Corey Kluber, Kyle Gibson against Cody Anderson. Twins will face maybe the best starting rotation in the American League.
Kind of a rematch between Phil Hughes and Kluber, and the Twins handled Kluber pretty good for the first time this year.
Been dealing with
last
some hamstring issues. This one off the glove of Tonkin. Now over to Dozier. Castellanos retired. 1-4-3, 2 down in the 9th inning. I mean, look, who else would you pick? Now, I'm not talking about, you know, the best number. The Cy Young Award winner might be David Price in Toronto, but if you took the rotation 1 through 5, you might take Cleveland's over anybody else's right now.
That's why Cleveland's still in the running. I know today's play, they were 3 games out of the wild card, but it's a big 4-game series for the Twins and the Indians.
2 down, and Collins takes strike 1. Houston leads Texas 2-1 in the 6th inning. Twins hope to gain a game on either Houston and or the Angels. 1-1.
Collins had a good day at the plate. A couple doubles off of Santana. 2 of the 6 hits that Santana allowed in his 7 innings.
Kansas City leading Cleveland 2-0, bottom of the 6th. Tapper foul, 1-2. Chris Young is no hitting the Cleveland Indians through 6. Two and 2.
Boy, today's game, if you can go through a game and only use 2 relievers.
Off the glove of Escobar and into short left field. And Collins has another hit.
Yeah, 3rd hit of the ballgame. Took that sinking fastball the other way. Escobar dove for it and right off his glove.
And that'll get Alex Avila to the plate one more time. We were talking earlier about potential of his dad, his new general manager, watching his son sign elsewhere. Al Campanis, when he was running the Dodgers, traded his son Jim to Kansas City back in the late 60s. But I mean, I had a hard enough time negotiating with my dad for a bigger allowance.
You got an allowance?
I got an allowance.
No way. We had to work.
Well, but I was allowed to work, and I was given some quarters or whatever it was for payment.
I meant a job, not, you know, cutting the grass, trimming a tree. I had to go out and actually work.
I'm telling you, I was 9 years old.
So? Could have had a paper out.
Jeez. 1-1 to Avila. 2-1.
Get an allowance. Come on.
Most
What
kids.
are you going to do with an allowance at 9 years old anyway?
Save my money for baseball cards.
That's what they call Christmas and birthdays.
Well, I'm glad I didn't grow up with you as my dad. Jeez. Fouled away. 2-2.
Boy, I would have got the belt out.
Twins one strike away from winning this series in Detroit. And now 3-2. Wilson on deck.
Tonkin worked a couple shutout innings, 2 appearances ago in Cleveland. Longest outing.
Fouled back. Still 3-2. Whereas Collins was off with the pitch. Avila with another foul back.
Avila made the All-Star team in 2011 for the Tigers. This is his 7th season. Came up in 2009.
And Avila takes a walk. First and second, 2 down. And that'll bring Wilson to the plate.
Well, Wilson's driven in the only run so far. That was a 2-out RBI double a couple innings ago. And Suzuki out to talk to Tonkin. Nice crowd here this afternoon, 33,517.
All 3 games drew in the low 30s. Up and in, ball 1. Tigers getting a 2-out single, 2-out walk from their 7 and 8 batters. Popped up. And Kepler squeezes it. And Tonkin finishes up with 2 effective innings of relief. And the Twins did accomplish what they set out to do, and that is to win this series.
Well, these are must wins, and the Twins put up 6 in the second to end up winning this ball game 7-1. Good win for the Twins. Now go to Cleveland, and they have to almost sweep the Indians.
Tom Hanneman, the Twins here in Detroit pick up win number